you really fry an egg on a hot sidewalk? What do you think? Today, you are going to learn about insulating and conducting properties of different materials.
Hi, it's Doug. It's day 2 of your class being stranded on a desert island. Your ship sank yesterday and you all swam ashore. And today, man, you are so hungry. Now, luckily, you spotted some wild chickens on the island. And if there are chickens, you get to thinking maybe there are eggs around. So you look around and, yes, all right, a nest. All right, you've got some eggs. Now, you don't really want to eat raw eggs if you don't have to. That'd be kind of gross. It'd be nice to find a way to cook them. There isn't any fire on your island, but it is really hot outside. It's so hot, actually, that it reminds you of something your uncle used to say every time it was a hot day. He'd say, "It's so hot outside, you could fry an egg on the sidewalk." You always thought that was just a funny thing some people say when it's hot outside. But could that expression actually be true? That would solve your problem. So you think, well, maybe I could try it out. There are no sidewalks on this island, but there is a nice flat rock that's been sitting in the hot sun. So you go ahead and you crack open one of the eggs like this. Here's what happens. It doesn't fry. It's still just a raw egg. I guess maybe the saying isn't true. Or does it just need to be hotter outside? It turns out that people have tried doing this, even in the hottest place on Earth. That's this place right here, Death Valley, California in the USA. Summer temperatures there reach 134 degrees Fahrenheit. So if there were somewhere that frying an egg on a hot sidewalk should work, Death Valley is the place. Look what happened even there, though. It still doesn't work. The eggs are still raw. So if it doesn't work in the hottest place on Earth, it's not going to work on this desert island either. Unfortunately, then, it seems like there isn't a way to fry an egg on a hot day. Now, meanwhile, while you were busy trying to fry an egg, your friend was busy rubbing some sticks together, and she managed to start a fire. All right, she even found this chunk of metal from the ship that can act like a frying pan. Oh, what an awesome friend. What would you do without her? You're all in business. You guys are going to have some fried eggs. Woohoo! But now, you have a new problem. You know that hot pan will burn your fingers if you touch it. You don't have any easy way to get your hot pan off of the fire without burning your hand. What can you do? You want to grab the pan, but it's too hot. Well, think about what people normally use in situations like this so that they won't burn their fingers. Like, what would you use to get a hot dish out of the oven?
What would you use to get a hot dish out of an oven? One of these. This is an oven mitt. People use oven mitts or pot holders to get a hot dish out of the oven. Now, what would you use to hold a cup of hot chocolate that's too hot for your hands? What could you use? You could use an oven mitt, but there's something else. You can use a cardboard sleeve that slides over the hot paper cup, and that cardboard protects people's hands from the heat.
So an oven mitt and a cup sleeve are both objects that we use to pick up hot things. But look at the materials they're made out of. An oven mitt is made of thick cloth. The sleeve on a paper cup is made out of cardboard. Cloth and cardboard are different materials, but both have the same property. They don't let heat get through them very easily. That's why these materials protect you from getting burned. Scientists have a single word that they like to use for this property. They say that these materials have insulating property. Materials that have insulating property don't let the heat get through easily, and so that protects you from getting burned. So now you have your solution for how to lift the hot frying pan off of the fire without burning your hand. What you need is a thick piece of cloth or cardboard. But you don't have a thick piece of cloth or cardboard here on the island. All you have on the island are these materials that washed up on shore. Will any of these materials work? You really don't want to burn your hand to find out. How can you find out which materials have insulating property?
So if you took those materials and you made them into mittens, which of those materials do you think can help you pick up something hot? Do you think the aluminum foil? Do you think the socks or the styrofoam? And which of those materials would be the best for picking up something hot?
Styrofoam mittens, you couldn't feel the heat of the hot bottle at all. That's because styrofoam is a material that has insulating property. Heat doesn't move through styrofoam quickly or easily. When you used cloth socks as mittens, you probably could feel some heat. Cloth is insulating, that's why people use it for oven mitts, but it's not nearly as good at insulating as styrofoam is. To protect your hands from hot things with a cloth sock, you just need cloth that's thicker, like this super thick hiking sock. Okay, and now the aluminum mittens. When you use mittens made of aluminum, which is a metal, it doesn't protect you from heat. It isn't insulating. When you press the aluminum metal against the bottle, heat from the bottle moves into the aluminum and travels into your hand. That isn't good for oven mitts. In fact, aluminum and other metals actually have the opposite property from insulating. They have the property called conducting, which means that heat goes through them very easily. Conducting materials like metal make really bad oven mitts. Only insulating materials will protect you from hot stuff. Conducting materials are good for something else, though. Like, have you ever noticed that pots and pans are all made out of metal? Why is that? Well, when you put a metal pan over a fire, the heat of the fire travels quickly through the metal into the food you want to cook. Because the metal is conducting, it passes that heat along to the food. Now that you know this, I can let you in on a little secret. Remember before how we asked, can you fry an egg on a sidewalk? And it seemed like the answer was no? Well, actually, it is possible. This person is putting a metal frying pan down on the road outside his house. He left it out in the sun for hours on a really hot day. The pan got hot. And look at what happens when he cracks an egg into that hot metal pan. Aha! It fries. The egg turns white. So it worked. When we did this earlier on a rock, the egg didn't cook, remember? The rock was hot, but all the heat didn't get to the egg. That's because rock has insulating property. It's not a good conducting material. But when you put an egg on metal, it works because metal has conducting property. It lets the heat travel through. So it is possible to fry an egg on a hot day with a little bit of cleverness and by thinking about the properties of materials. Now that you know how to protect your hands, it's time to eat. So go enjoy your imaginary desert island egg breakfast, all without burning your hands.
Yummy. So now I want you to think about the insulating and conducting properties of the different materials and what you were able to see in the video. And I want you to answer this question. Imagine that you needed to walk across a hot sidewalk in the summer. What material would protect your feet the best to walk across that hot pavement or that hot sidewalk? You are going to click add response and you're going to choose the material that you think would protect your feet the best and then tell me why.